They had one of the messiest breakups Hollywood has ever seen.
This was about watching the collapse of a story that we had believed in, we had been a part of for nearly a decade.
She asked Jason if he had got her a gift, and he said, "What would I get you, Olivia? I don't even know you."
He was the homewrecker, she was wrong, she hurt Jason.
From the salad dressing saga to being served on stage, Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde were responsible for some of the craziest headlines of 2022.
The Don't Worry Darling press tour was an absolute shambles. I mean, it was like one disaster after another.
It looked mean-spirited, it looked very cruel.
The question, as always in Hollywood, is who's the hero, who's the villain of this breakup?
So how did they go from a beloved celebrity couple to one in crisis? Jason and Olivia met for the first time in 2011. Sparks flying between the pair on the set of Saturday Night Live.
I don't think it was love at first sight for Jason and Olivia. I think that they were more of a slow burn. You know, they met quite a few times before anything romantic ever formed. They didn't even ask for each other's numbers. I mean, one of their friends actually gave Jason Olivia's number and said, "Can you guys just get together?" So I think it was definitely a slower situation with them. And then even when Jason did have Olivia's number, you know, it took him a month to text her. So I don't think it was an instant spark. I think they grew it over time.
1 year later, and they were going steady, telling anyone who would listen about how in love they were.
They'd both been married before, so they both had long-term relationships that they'd come out of. So once they worked together, they knew what they wanted. And yeah, it moved super quick. I mean, they kind of got together in 2011, and then by the next year they were moved in. The year after that, they were engaged. So yeah, I think once you've been in a serious relationship before and you're doing it again, you do move faster. And they were a little bit older as well.
People like that the people that they're rooting for in the movies, on television, are actually these good people. And their relationship seemed to resemble a happy, normal couple, and people like that. It wasn't that they were just seeing them in various movies and the roles they played. They were buying into the idea that it wasn't just the roles they play, that's how they are in real life. And that's why everyone really was rooting for this couple and why so many people were taken by them.
After popping the question, Jason and Olivia wasted no time in starting a family, welcoming 2 children in 2 years.
They just represented this really appealing version of 2 successful people raising children together. I think audiences really loved seeing them doing the ordinary things. It created a sense of relatable intimacy, as I call it. You stop seeing them as 2 actors and you start seeing them as a family that you could have a picnic with and hang out with and become emotionally invested when there's relatability.
And it wasn't long before the pair blurred the lines between personal and professional. Jason starred in Olivia's directorial debut, Booksmart, in 2019.
This was such a great time for Olivia, and having Jason in it, they seemed like the perfect couple at this point. I mean, she spoke so glowing of how he was on set. She said that he was amazing, and they kind of seemed like they had the perfect personal and professional balance. And the movie was just such a kind of feel-good movie that I feel like fans really bought into their dynamic as well.
Despite the success of Booksmart, behind the scenes the picture-perfect facade was crumbling. The couple had been silently struggling for months, but their issues came to a head on Olivia's 36th birthday.
She asked Jason if he had got her a gift, and he said, "What would I get you, Olivia? I don't even know you." Which is really sad because they were together for a long time and they seemed like they knew each other really well. The way she said it was that it was quite normal that you can stop knowing someone, but I didn't think that was normal. I think it is quite shocking because how can you have had children, been engaged, live with someone for so long, but feel like you know nothing about them and you can't even get them a birthday present?
Days later, and Los Angeles was plunged into COVID lockdown, allowing the pair to delay the inevitable until November 2020, when news finally broke that they'd called it quits.
People weren't simply processing a celebrity breakup. This was about watching the collapse of a story that we had believed in, we had been a part of for nearly a decade. When a couple has children, especially children, and you're kind of woven into this story of what we want for everyone to have this happy family that's walking off into the sunset together, we put them in a subconsciously safe category when we feel like they've got children and they're kind of moving along with their family life. The separation changed the narrative completely. And the question, as always in Hollywood, is who's the hero, who's the villain of this breakup?
But if Olivia and Jason thought this would be the end of the drama, they couldn't have been more wrong.
Right there, right there, right there, right there!
Enter Harry Styles. The musician was at the height of his fame when Olivia cast him as the lead in her new film, Don't Worry Darling. But just weeks into filming, rumors started to swirl that the pair were more than just co-workers.
Then she started seeing Harry Styles so quickly afterwards. A lot of people were thinking he was the homewrecker, she was wrong, she hurt Jason, she was having this affair behind the scenes. Even though she denied it, people began thinking they know more than their public relations people. They know more because the public loves me, and they don't realize public opinion's fickle. It can turn fast. And the other thing is, something like that, announcing the new relationship when the other one so just briefly ended, is something that's going to turn people against you.
And the public weren't the only ones unhappy. Just months later, Jason revealed to the press that he was still processing the breakup.
And then, Jason did his GQ interview. He kind of got some press on just this vulnerability. And, the public will always side with the more emotionally vulnerable person in any hero-villain narrative. We've seen this time and time again in PR sagas or PR crises across the board. And Jason just had that. He embodied that we felt sorry for him. We felt like she had moved on and had this, sexy, beautiful, romantic thing happening, and he was just there in the dust, like kind of dumbfounded.
His PR team was very smart because it, again, cast him in a sympathetic light. He wasn't playing victim, he wasn't attacking her, but it seemed like he was taking a step back, trying to figure out what went wrong, and that made many people feel he was blindsided. It had to be Olivia's fault.
Olivia had gone from being one half of one of the most loved couples in Hollywood to public enemy number one. And unfortunately for her, this was only just the beginning. It's safe to say 2022 was not Olivia's year. The director's image had already taken a hit, but nothing could have prepared her for the moment that she was served custody papers while on stage at CinemaCon.
Olivia was understandably shocked when she got served those papers on stage. She's trying to promote her new movie. It's only her second movie. It was still quite early in her directorial career. And yeah, she didn't expect it at all. And I think it was just a horrible thing. It was embarrassing. Everyone in the audience didn't really know what was going on. And then for it to go viral and have your kind of personal laundry so public is pretty awful.
She even said in a recent interview that, she held it together and then went backstage and just melted into this puddle. And who could blame her? It wasn't a good look for anybody. I think it was a PR nightmare because the image was just so unforgettable.
If you take Jason at his word, he knew nothing about it. But that was horrendous. That really changed the narrative. It looked mean-spirited. It looked very cruel. To many professional females, this was a guy trying to disrupt a successful businesswoman at that point. That's how it came across.
While Olivia's personal life was unraveling, attention turned towards her professional life. Rumors of her creating a toxic environment on the set of Don't Worry Darling began gaining traction.
There were 6 competing PR crises in one. We had Shia LaBeouf's departure, Olivia and Harry's relationship. We had tension on the set, rumored. There was weird body language. There was just a lot going on in this film. And I think the part of the problem was a lot of it was covered up. And so we were just left to our own devices to kind of interpret all this, which inherently creates a disaster. The movie stopped being the story, the press tour became the entertainment.
From Spitgate to tension in the cast, it seems like everything was falling apart for Wilde.
The Don't Worry Darling press tour was an absolute shambles. I mean, it was like one disaster after another. Every red carpet, every photo call. Fans were just watching the cast like hawks to see what was going on. They had the Florence and Olivia feud. They didn't really interact on the red carpet. They were never seen talking. Apparently they sat quite far away from each other inside. And then we had Spitgate as well, which fans were convinced that Harry Styles had spit on Chris Pine, his co-star, because he was standing behind him, and it did quite look like that. Reps always denied that, and they've both said it didn't happen, but we'll never know.
Olivia's public image was at an all-time low, but nobody could have predicted what would happen next. On the 17th of October, Olivia and Jason's former nanny went to the press, sharing wild stories about the pair's relationship breakdown.
He made a lot of claims. I think a lot of them were kind of about Jason and how upset he was over the split. She said she would come home and he would be crying and crying. She kind of claimed there was an overlap between Harry and Olivia's relationship and the one with Jason, which everyone has denied. She actually said that Jason wouldn't let the kids listen to Harry Styles music because he was so angry about everything. So yeah, it was wild.
But there was one story in particular that set the internet ablaze.
The salad dressing saga was wild. I mean, the nanny kind of claims that Jason came into his family home with Olivia and saw that she was making her famous salad dressing that she always made for him and the kids, but she was making it for Harry and she was going to bring it to him as a gift. He didn't like that this famous salad dressing was going to anyone else but the family, and was quite jealous apparently. So he, in a bid to kind of stop her from giving this to Harry, he apparently lay under her car to stop her from leaving.
Olivia, however, had the last laugh, taking to her Instagram stories to share the infamous salad dressing recipe.
What she did was basically post that, and it was tongue-in-cheek, and it came out that way, and it showed that she had a good sense of humor, and that's one of the best ways to minimize a situation like this. You don't want to overplay it, but if you can find some humor, put some humor in it, it changes the narrative. And all of a sudden it made the entire situation look idiotic and silly. And she didn't have to say or do anything more.
If there was one thing to get Olivia and Jason back on the same page, this was it. The pair releasing a joint statement calling the accusations false and scurrilous.
The joint statement with Jason actually was the correct first move. Again, it goes back to what we just spoke about. They were united front as parents. They brought the focus back to protecting their kids.
By the end of 2022, the dust had settled, helped by Olivia and Harry calling it quits in November. Fast forward to now, Olivia and Jason have managed to keep out of the headlines, with many wondering if a romantic reconciliation could be on the cards.
I don't think that they will get back together. I think it's one of those kind of up and down relationships where there probably was at some point a chance they would, but now I think they're in a place where they're civil, they're co-parenting, and I think that's the way they work best. It sounds like their relationship was quite wild, and I think they maybe are better apart and better with other people.
It's convincing everyone, including themselves, that, breakups happen and you can move on, and showing that you're moving on beyond any sort of public noise. I mean, kudos to them. That has to be incredibly challenging, and they seem to be doing that, and what a benefit to their children, honestly. A huge benefit and a huge role model to so many people that aren't celebrities that are watching and learning. Like, hey, listen, if they can move on and be cordial co-parents, maybe I can too. And I think that's the win of the story.
Whether they're the it couple or co-parents, Olivia and Jason have proved that they can weather the toughest of storms.